The Russian Bratva is not a movie trope. It is a calculated, blood-soaked hierarchy that has governed the criminal underworld of Eurasia for nearly a century. Most people think of the mafia as a simple chain of command. The Bratva is different. It is a rigid caste system rooted in the Gulag prison camps of the Soviet Union. To understand the Russian underworld, you have to understand the Vory v Zakone, or Thieves-in-Law. At the very bottom of this pyramid sit the shestyorka. The name literally means the six. It comes from the six in a deck of cards, the lowest value. These are the errand boys, the foot soldiers. They do the heavy lifting, the dirty work, and the grunt labor. They are expendable. If a job goes sideways, the shestyorka is the one left holding the bag. They are the eyes and ears on the street, constantly trying to prove their worth to move up the ladder. They live in constant fear because in the Bratva, you are only as valuable as your last score. Above the shestyorka are the boyeviks. These are the muscle. The term implies a fighter or a militant. If you see a Russian crime scene involving a professional hit or a violent extortion, a boyevik is usually pulling the trigger. They are not just thugs. They are often trained in combat, weaponry, or martial arts. Their job is simple: enforce the will of the organization through pure, unadulterated violence. They don't talk, they act. They are the tactical arm of the syndicate, serving as the bridge between the street-level runners and the high-level strategists. Next, we reach the autoritet. This translates to authority. These are the mid to high-level managers. They don't pull triggers anymore. They don't run errands. They run rackets. An autoritet controls specific territories or industries, whether it's human trafficking, drug distribution, or money laundering. They possess the connections. They manage the bribes. They are the ones who make the daily operations of the Bratva profitable. If you want to move goods through a port or open a business in a mob-controlled neighborhood, you deal with the autoritet. They are the masters of the gray economy. Now we hit the peak. The Vory v Zakone, the Thieves-in-Law. These are the elite of the elite. This is not a rank you earn through money. It is a title bestowed upon you by other Vory. Historically, to become a Vor, you had to follow a strict code: never work a traditional job, never own property, never cooperate with the state, and, most importantly, never marry. The institution of the Vory Zakone was born in the brutal Soviet prison camps of the 1930s. It was a way for career criminals to organize against the guards and the political prisoners. They tattooed their bodies like maps. Each ink mark told a story. Stars on the shoulders meant high rank, spiderwebs meant time served, and daggers on the neck signified a killer. But the 1990s changed everything. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the Bratva didn't just grow, they became the state. The old code of poverty and anti-government defiance shattered. The new Vory became billionaire oligarchs. They traded prison cells for marble boardrooms. Today, a modern Vor is more likely to be found in a penthouse in Dubai or a yacht in the Mediterranean than in a Siberian labor camp. The hierarchy is held together by the obshchak. This is the common fund. Every rank, from the lowest shestyorka to the highest Vor, contributes a percentage of their earnings into this pot. It is the lifeblood of the Bratva. It pays for lawyers, bribes for judges, support for families of imprisoned members, and the expansion of new criminal ventures. If you steal from the obshchak, you don't go to court, you simply disappear. The transition from the old-school prison hierarchy to the modern corporate criminal syndicate has been ruthless. In the 90s, the streets of Moscow ran red with the thief wars. Rival factions fought for control of the vast resources left behind by the collapsing communist regime. Thousands died. The survivors were the ones who realized that business was more effective than bullets. Today, the Bratva is integrated into the global financial system. They use shell companies, crypto laundering, and state-level cyber operations to influence geopolitics. They are no longer just gangs. They are shadow corporations with the reach of a sovereign nation. However, the core ideology remains the same: the survival of the organization above all else. Loyalty is the only currency that matters. Betrayal is met with immediate, surgical finality. There are no retirement parties in the Bratva. There is no stepping down. You are either in or you are a target. Looking at the history of these ranks, you realize that the Bratva isn't just an organization, it is an echo of the Soviet system itself. It is a reflection of a society where the rule of law was always secondary to the rule of force. As long as there is power to be seized and black markets to exploit, this hierarchy will continue to adapt. They have survived the gulags, the collapse of an empire, and the rise of the digital age. The question isn't whether the Bratva will survive the next decade. The question is whether we can even recognize the monster when it stops wearing the mask of the criminal and starts wearing the suit of the statesman. In this hierarchy, the most dangerous weapon is not the gun, but the realization that the system was designed to crush anyone who tries to leave it. Whether you are a six or a thief-in-law, the Bratva ultimately owns you. The only difference is the size of the cage you are allowed to build for yourself.